Joining me right now is the teaching pastor, Cam Stevens at Grant Memorial Church. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, glad to be with you.
So, in the spirit of I Love to Read Month, I am here to ask you what your favorite book is, or maybe just a book that you really enjoy.
Right. Okay. So I think my issue is I do love to read. So it's very appropriate for the month of February. But my big issue is I don't know if I can pinpoint one book that is absolutely my go-to book or my favorite book. What I find are what I really love to learn. That's why I like to read. And so different topics, different things that kind of rear their head will often bring me to different books. And so I just love to grow, love to read, love to learn. And yeah, again, I'm not sure if I can pinpoint a specific book, but there have been many books along the way that have really, yeah, been impactful or really taught me a lot, on a particular subject area or area of my life.
Well, how about let's think of one book that has really impacted you and the way that you now live your life. Is there a book kind of like that where you can think of?
Yeah. So again, there would be a bunch, but one book that that I think of when I hear that question is a book called "With" by an author named Skye Jethani. And the reason it comes to mind is we just recently walked through this book as a staff, and I had read it a number of years ago, and then we decided we wanted to walk through it as a staff here at the church, and it just reminded me of how uh, yeah how significant it was upon first reading, and a reminder of all the concepts that it touched on. Just encouraged me to reimagine the way that I relate to God. And so yeah, definitely has had that type of an impact in my life.
Is there a specific quote or maybe like a certain part in the book that really resonates with you?
Oh man, that's a good question. Really, what the book does um, it actually it invites us to consider the way that we relate to God. Do we see God as kind of somewhat of a cosmic bully that we need to kind of constantly appeal to? Is God, just someone who kind of sets us on the path and gives us principles to live by, but stays somewhat disconnected from us? Is God someone who he exists for us, right? Where I'm constantly going to him as a genie, and so it kind of presents these different ways in which we, I think, by default relate to God. And then it challenges us to say, to remind us that God has created us to be with him, to be in relationship with him. And so yeah, and just in every area of our lives to remember that that we're not walking it alone. We're not performing for God or trying to appease God or just seeking his blessing, but we're actually walking with him. And the point is to know God better, and to actually live every step, every breath with him, as opposed to behind him or under him or over him or anything like that.
Absolutely. And so, because February is I Love to Read month, and you yourself called yourself a bookie, what is some maybe encouraging words that you would say to the listeners to get them to read a little bit more?
Yeah, for me, um, again, like I said a little earlier, I love to read because I love to learn, and that's what I would encourage people towards, is just to say there is a wealth of knowledge out there. I think often we assume that we kind of need to get by on our own. We need to figure everything out from scratch, and that's just not the case. There are brilliant people, and when we're talking about theological books and Christian living books specifically, there are brilliant and godly people who have walked the journey before us, who have incredible wisdom and insight to share with us. Again, so that we don't need to constantly feel like we need to reinvent the wheel, that no one else has been here before. And so my encouragement would be to read and take advantage of the incredible resource of the minds of those who God has spoken to in the past. And yeah, and as it challenges us to yeah, to maybe avoid certain maybe mistakes we would we would make on our own, or even just to challenge our defaults, the way that we would think or act in a particular way. And yeah, so my encouragement is there is so much to learn, and we are not living in an era where that wisdom is inaccessible. There's all sorts of good stuff out there that you can fill your mind with, and let it encourage you as you grow, as you learn about subject areas, and grow in your own life and your own walk with God.
Awesome. Well, Cam, thank you so much for joining me today and talking about I Love to Read Month and your favorite books.
Yeah, my pleasure.